G'day and welcome to the channel. So as I said in the previous videos, we're actually going to go back and take a look at the Universal Studios monsters. Yes, all those films that are classics like Frankenstein, Dracula, and even some of the more obscure ones. So this film, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, takes me all the way back to 1913. They didn't even know that World War I was gonna happen. They didn't even know that it was gonna follow on into World War II. Oh my god, that's like 101 years ago. You get it, it's a long time ago. Dr. Henry Jekyll is such a good person and a good doctor that rather than go out to the opera, he decides to stay back and help with his charity patients. Meanwhile, he discusses with his friends his research and they ridicule him, saying it is dangerous. What is this research, you ask? He is currently doing an experiment to try and bring all the evil out of him so he can be a purely good doctor. Seems too good to be true? That's because it is. Unfortunately, due to the way that it is worded and the unfortunate effects of the potion that he makes, it does bring all the evil out of him, and it stays there. He turns into the villainous Mr. Hyde. Now, when he becomes Mr. Hyde, he writes down this note saying to treat him as an honoured guest of the house and treat him no less than you would treat Dr. Jekyll. So he goes to the house servant and he presents this note, which is done in Dr. Jekyll's handwriting. So they're like, well, if Dr. Jekyll has written this, then certainly we will treat you as a guest of the house. Mr. Hyde goes out into the village and he causes all sorts of mischief. Now, for the most part, his mischief consists of looking through windows creepily and people just looking at his face and screaming. So that counts as mischief? Not very threatening. That combined with just, wandering around the village being a nuisance, not very bad. Also, he cripples a boy. Yeah, he actually cripples a boy, so I guess he kind of is a monster. The film's idea is to show you what would happen if all of your negative traits came to replace all of your good ones, and you had no control out of it. You would be a captive in your own body when you woke to find the consequences of your evil half. Dr. Jekyll runs out of an antidote, and unfortunately for him, even without taking the potion, he still transforms into Mr. Hyde. So this means that he is always going to be Mr. Hyde and always going to be causing mischief. He's going to have to live with that for the rest of his life. Now, what happens to this demon-souled man? Well, he actually dies. At the end of the film, he tries to battle his own demons and loses. He rolls around on the table and is eventually pronounced dead by two other people. And that is how the film ends, on a very somber note. Time to get on to the next segment, the monster rating. So what do I rate Mr. Hyde as a monster? Well, he's not very imposing. For you guys that want to, see how he is viewed in the film, you can. It's public domain. It's practically everywhere. But he is a gentleman slumped over with a hat and a cane. And he just frolics around like that. Not very scary, not very imposing. He does, mainly just get up to mischief and scares people with his appearance. But, he has crippled a child. And given his tendencies, I think that he would continue to hurt more people. However, his greatest problem seems to be reaching for his hat. And you see him jumping over while he's hunched over trying to get his hat off this hat stand. And it's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to feel like, oh my god, this poor man, look what has become of him. Because instead I'm just like, who the hell does he think he's scaring? All these factors and more give him a 2 out of 10 on the monster scale. He's not a 1 because he is going to go around hurting people, and unfortunately he cannot control it because it has reached a stage where he can't control the transformations anymore. So he will be out and he will be attacking people, but on that same token he could easily be overpowered, and most of that trouble just comes from annoying mischief. So anyway, that is what I thought of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from 1913. I hope you guys liked this. I'm going to be doing a few more throughout the month of October and even a little beyond. I'm actually just really enjoying this, going back and seeing where all these things started. Anyway, I'll catch you guys next time, and until then, don't make any potions that bring out your evil self.